Are you a fruity fragrance lover? Do you love cherry or mango? Today I am covering every single new release that has mango, cherry, or predominantly fruity notes. We have a lot to talk about. I have here, I think, 15 or 16 fragrances. So I am going through them right from the start, starting with the category of mango fragrances. There are a lot of mango fragrances that were released, shockingly also during winter, which is not exactly the season that I would expect to have such a note. And let's start with the first one that I actually tested during Essence this year. And I told you about it, that it is a very juicy, beautiful mango fragrance. So when it was officially released, I got a sample to really test it, because honestly, a lot of fragrances that I've tested at Essence were not exactly what I ended up testing when I got like the sample or the fragrance. So the opening is 100% yes from me. A very juicy, very almost photorealistic mango fragrance, but with a lot of vanilla. The opening is just so mouth-watering, you can't even imagine. It's amazing how photorealistic, specifically like mango juice, it smells. Not like the fruit, it's a juice, a sweet mango juice, so beautiful. I didn't honestly smell the vanilla so much at Essence, but when I tested this time and also on my skin, I get more of the vanilla. So imagine this mango juice with a little bit of vanilla. I am really craving now mango juice. This is how photorealistic this fragrance is. The dry down, however, is a little bit disappointing, because the mango, although it's there, but it's not like a mango fragrance. It's more like a concoction of tropical fruits in a way, with the vanilla that is almost like a pudding vanilla kind of smell. It's very subtle, but it's different. It's not like the usual vanilla in a way. And I'm not talking about a fruity note, like this generic fruity notes that are in Herba Pura and these fragrances. This is a little bit of a different accord. And it's this very generic fruity synthetic notes that you will find in a plethora of specifically modern Italian perfumery. But it's made in a way that still I prefer to these. So overall, I really like this fragrance, but I was really wanting the opening to be the dry down in a way. I wanted this very photorealistic juiciness that I got in the beginning, but still, it's a good fragrance. I would definitely recommend it for someone who wants a good mango fragrance and who also likes these fruit bowl kind of scents. Yeah, I think you will like this one. Has very good performance. So yeah, if you like that scent profile, I would definitely recommend this fragrance. Now moving on to MANGOMANIA D from New Notes. And I don't know what D stands for. Tell me in the comments down if you know. And this is definitely a different take. So think about a juicy mango, but mixed with marine notes. So it's almost in the opening like you are by the sea and you are drinking a mango juice in a way, but it's definitely a little bit on the synthetic side. It's very fresh and musky and extremely synthetic. Like, I know that mango is by definition a synthetic fragrance. I'm talking about, there are fragrances that use synthetics, but the smell is very realistic, while others you will get a non-authentic smell, and that is what I call a synthetic smell. So no one please tell me in the comments down below that mango and all of that is synthetic. I know that it is. Anyway, and so it's fresh and musky. Definitely a different take, but I will tell you honestly what I'm smelling. I'm smelling an overripe mango that is almost to the point to turn bad, mixed with a cheap cologne smell. I definitely don't like this fragrance. It is a different take, I will give it that, but the smell itself and everything nauseates me. I would not recommend this fragrance, I have to say, unfortunately. So that one is definitely a pass. Moving to a Derja fragrance that came out this year, Coro. And Coro, in a nutshell. Smells a lot like erba pura. Imagine erba pura, but instead of the generic fruity notes, it's more into tropical, specifically mango. And it's definitely fresher, brighter in a way compared to erba pura. Definitely belongs to the same family. I believe if you like that one, you will love also this one. Is it better than erba pura? As someone who actually doesn't like erba pura, I would say no. It is definitely fresher, which is what I like about it. I love also more mango than anything else. It's still this fruity bowl, but it's a slightly different, made also quite more easygoing, and it's definitely not as beastly as erba pura. So this one did not perform very well on my skin, surprisingly. I expected to have this fragrance on my skin for a long time, and I was prepared to hate the day. But I have to mention that, surprisingly for Xerjoff and these kind of notes, it lasted moderately. So I don't know, is it my skin or is it really a different formula? Like, it doesn't have what makes erba, it doesn't have the ingredients, notes that make erba pura such a beast and such a long-lasting fragrance. I have to say, I personally don't like it, but I know since a lot of people love erba pura that this maybe is something that you would love. I think you will like it if you love that fragrance. I think you will like it if you want something a little bit more fresh and more on the tropical mango note. It's not specifically a mango fragrance, like so only in the beginning. But in the dry down, it's more of tropical, different to erba pura, as I said, but with a slightly little bit more mango. But I wouldn't actually classify it as a strictly mango fragrance, in my opinion. Now, let's move on to a new release from Je Vois, and it is Halong Bay. And oh my god, was I disappointed in this release. This is a spicy mango. When you first spray it, I didn't get much of any mango. I'm getting spiciness, I'm getting ambroxan, I'm getting this very woody syntheticness, very sharp, almost medicinal in a way. It is, however, on my skin when I got more the mango note. So I would categorize it as a woody, spicy mango, which is again a combination that I've never tested before. And it's kind of not blended in the sense, I find like the notes are clashing with each other, and I don't know why. I have this experience with a lot of fragrances that specifically are an interpretation of Vietnam or a place in Vietnam. They tend to be this clash of different smells. I've never went there, so I don't know, is it an interpretation of something that is in Vietnam, but for some reason I have no idea. Like, this is not the only fragrance, and overall, to put it simple, it's off-putting. I would not recommend this fragrance in any way, shape or form. Not a lot of success with mango fragrances till now. Next we have the latest release from ELECTIMUSS. This is ASTRUM Nova. I think they released also a new fragrance, another one, that I didn't test yet. And this is a woody mango. Here you will get more the mango, like compared with Halong Bay. Definitely you will get here more the mango than there. It's woody, it's peppery. Oh no, there is no pepper in the notes. I'm getting a little bit of pepper. It's not a juicy mango. Think about more of a, I want to say, masculine mango in a way. It's not a masculine fragrance, but it gives me this vibe. It has wood in the notes, and personally I would have wished for less woodiness, less wood in this fragrance. I definitely prefer the one from Gritty, Mango Oud, as a combination of a fruity mango with oud to this one. However, Gritty is more synthetic than this, definitely. But I prefer still Gritty if we talk about this combination. However, this fragrance in the dry down takes a little bit of a turn. The oud goes a little bit back in the background, which is expected in a way. But what I didn't expect is that the blackcurrant would really come out in the dry down. You will get still the mango, but it's almost a competitor with the mango note. Overall, I don't like this fragrance again. Like, it's not a bad one. So it's not like I'm not recommending this fragrance, but it was a pass, definitely, for me personally. I have not the best luck with Electimus. I have a first impression on Electimus, and I almost didn't like any of their fragrances, and also the fragrances that I got after that, I've never liked anyone. There is one that a lot of you told me about with dates, Majul something, that I have, but I'm waiting to include it in a hyped up niche fragrance video, so definitely stay tuned. I don't review only new releases. I also have a permanent series on hyped fragrances in general, so they are not necessarily new releases, and tell you if they are worth the hype and worth the money. Now, I think we finished all the mango fragrances. Now let's get to cherry, and let's start with the first one, which I had to get a travel size of to talk about. This is Fleur Cherry Stem. A lot of people absolutely love this fragrance. It's got a lot of hype. Fleur as a brand has a lot of hype. I have actually the full collection as samples, and this was the only one that was missing, and this is why I decided to invest in a travel size, but I didn't test the rest. So this is the first fragrance I test from the brand. Next year I will dedicate the whole year for US brands, and definitely Fleur is one of them. Anyway, enough chatting, let's talk about Cherry Stem. And again, I was so disappointed. It's again not bad. It's a very deep dark cherry mixed with some boozy notes. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. I had a medicine, like I had to take a medicine while I was testing this fragrance, and I was immediately reminded that it had a lot of similarity with that fragrance. So it was not a cherry medicine, like it was a syrup. It was a blackcurrant one. And if we exclude the fact that this is cherry and this is blackcurrant and smelled almost identical to my nose, I think it's about the consistency of this fragrance, and also because it's overly synthetic. I have to say I'm not liking this one at all. I couldn't get the hype. Like, it's not bad, but it's not something that I find is worth that amount of hype that it got. The dry down, there is something in this fragrance specifically that comes out more in the dry down that is not really looking at the notes, something that I would explain by leather or ebony or any of these notes. There is something different. I'm a lover of cherry, but this one is a pass for me. I did not enjoy it. Is it really bad? No, it's okay, let's say, and I definitely don't get the hype. So this one is a hard pass for me. By the way, I think I have enough to dedicate a whole video on cherry fragrances. Definitely will do that in the summer when it is the right season for cherry. And I also have a prepared video for the best mango fragrances. So if you love these two notes, then definitely stay tuned. Now the next one is the new release from Musicology, another fragrance that I have tested in at Essence. They released 3 new fragrances. Today I'm talking only about one, because the other 2 I will speak about in upcoming videos. I think I have enough to dedicate a whole episode for all the new vanilla fragrances that are in the market, and then one where I combine all the rest. And Funky Cherry is a combination of violet with cherry. And I can see why a lot of fragrances have these two together. They combine quite well. It's just me that I don't like the note of violet. And what makes it a little bit different, like what is the difference between this one and Stem, is that it's quite light and it has ambrette note that is quite predominant. These belong to the Rhythm collection, which is an extrait de parfum. I would say if you love violet, you will love this one. The violet is really amped up here, and it's quite transparent and not overly gourmand or sweet like other cherry fragrances. Specifically because of the ambrette that really uplifts it, make it quite fresh, like a fresh take on cherry. I like, but I have to say it's not my absolute favorite. I would say you would go for this one if you absolutely love violet and you want more of this fresh, transparent take on cherry, then check this one out. Again, was a miss for me, but it's not a bad fragrance. I would recommend it if you love the scent profile. Moving on to a fragrance that I honestly didn't know that it was all about cherry. So Maison TAHITE released 3 new fragrances. Again, yeah, a lot of brands that are releasing 3 fragrances, but again, I'm talking only about 1, and this is TONKA ROUGE. This is a very nice and pleasant cherry and vanilla fragrance. It has also something boozy, so it definitely will remind you of Lost Cherry from Tom Ford, but instead of the almond note that is in Lost Cherry here, it is all about the tonka. But the end result is quite similar, I have to say. It's a very light and airy experience. And when we talk about Lost Cherry, it was specifically in the opening like a cherry pie, very, very, very almost photorealistic. Maybe because there is no almond, there is tonka, and the whole blend is quite more on the fresh, light side. It's what makes it different, let's say. And honestly, Maison TAHITE is one of the most affordable niche fragrance brands. So 100 ml is 110 euros. And honestly, even if it's lighter and it's not exactly the same like Lost Cherry, I would definitely put it as a probable contender if I finish my Lost Cherry to get this one. And that says really a lot. If you know, you know. My obsession with Lost Cherry and for finding a substitute for that fragrance, because it's outrageously expensive, has been now for years, and you gave me a lot of suggestions. Thank you very much for them, but nothing for me worked. And still, compared to this one, I definitely prefer a Lost Cherry still, just because it's a little bit more complex and has more cherry than this one. Because in the dry down, the cherry here fades away a little bit. It's still a cherry fragrance, but it's not as predominant as in the beginning, and just Lost Cherry has, there is a complexity that really makes the difference. However, this is one of the best, I have to say, that I am putting as a maybe after I finish Lost Cherry, and that says a lot. So that was the pleasant surprise. TONKA ROUGE. Another new release from Van Cleef on our pals, one of the collections that I'm very, very curious about. I already am collecting samples and everything because I want to do a buying guide. I really love that line. The only issue with Van Cleef Van Arpels fragrances is the longevity. And like the performance is not the best, but their fragrances are very good. I have currently Orchidée Vanille. I love Voix de Riz. Many fragrances that are gorgeous. So when I saw that they have a cherry one, I said I need to try it, and I got a sample, and this is a beautiful cherry. In the beginning I was okay, I found it. I finally found the fragrance that can replace Lost Cherry. It has this very soft powdery cherry, it has this boozy touches also in Lost Cherry, but it really turns into dry down. Not that it becomes a bad fragrance, but there is something in the base again that really bothers me, and I can't sugarcoat it. I am always honest with you. There is a hint of something that smells almost like bug spray. I don't know. So I think there is a lot of ambroxan in this fragrance, because I've noticed that something that I didn't have before, some combinations, specifically with ambroxan in fragrances, when it's in a high dose, smell to me like bug spray suddenly. And this is, I think, why I am getting it. This is a personal issue. I know that not everyone is getting what I get. So I really can't say what I think about this fragrance, but the opening is beautiful. I love the opening more definitely than TONKA ROUGE, but the dry down is a total letdown, and also doesn't have good performance. Like almost I expected it and I didn't care, but yeah, unfortunately the scent profile did not work for me. Tell me if you have the same experience with this fragrance. Did you try it? What do you think about it? Next, we have quite a hyped fragrance. Not hyped, like when it was released, all people who went to Aix-en-Provence raved about this one. This is O from Pantheon Roma. This opens with a very sparkling rose with a lot of syntheticness, but then very quickly transforms into a sweet, fruity rose. Honestly, I wouldn't have guessed it is cherry. Like, smelling the fragrance and not knowing the notes, it's not cherries that I get. Like, I get fruitiness. I would say a mix of berries, but there is actually cherry in the notes. This is why I decided to include it in this list. This smells to me like a combination and a mix of fruity notes with iris, champagne, and rose. This is how this fragrance smells to me. There is also a vanilla that you can get. It's a very nice fragrance. I would recommend it. But it didn't wow me as much as everyone else. So yeah, this is my opinion. So that was O. And with that, I think I finished the cherry ones. Yeah. So now let's move on to 2 apricot fragrances, starting with the newest release from the house of Oud and Dunui. Sorry for the pronunciation. So this is a very yummy gourmand fragrance. It's a sweet buttery apricot pastry, puff pastry. It's very gourmand without being totally edible. Could be because of the floral notes here. So it's almost borderline, like it's between something that you can eat and just a perfume, gourmand perfume in a way. Very delicious, very beautiful. Not for me personally, but would definitely recommend it if you want something like that, like something that smells like butter, vanilla, puff pastry with some apricot and maybe peach on top. This is how this fragrance smells. Very linear, it not develop much, so what you get in the beginning is also what you get in the dry down. However, it has the same issues that a lot of the House of Oud fragrances have. It lacks performance. I don't know what is going on with the House of Oud. A lot of fragrances that I've tested, and by the way, I am planning on doing a first impression because I have a lot of fragrances that I didn't test. So I decided just to test the rest with you all and do a first impression. But from the ones that I have 1 fragrance, and the ones that I've tested, they do lack in performance quite a bit. Now, let's go to the next one, and it is Apricot Innocence from Simone Andreoli. Again, he released 3 new fragrances, and one of them is Apricot Innocence. It's a very sweet but yet crisp and fresh apricot fragrance. It's almost a mix of an underripe apricot with apricot paste. I don't know how it is called now. In the Middle East, there is a specific drink, also desserts that are made from the apricot paste. It's like a paper, thin paper, amardine, and then they use it to make a drink or even some desserts. So it smells like a mix between the two, something that is underripe, almost like you can smell the seed of the apricot with this. It's very, very mouth-watering and fresh and crisp and just beautiful. I know there are a lot of notes here, but to me it smells just strictly like what I have described. So there are osmanthus, there is musk, the amber, and a lot of notes, but the end result for me is what I have described. So if you want an almost photorealistic apricot fragrance, not jammy, remember, it's not a jammy apricot, you will definitely like this one, and has very good performance. So I would highly recommend this fragrance for anyone who wants that scent profile, this very photorealistic, authentic smelling apricot fruit. Yeah, it's so good. Now let's move to other fruits and other fragrances. I have the first one here, a pear fragrance, and it is Kunamu. And honestly, the first impression that I got from this fragrance is that if I ever smelled this one on someone, I would have believed that he layered two fragrances. Specifically, he layered a fragrance from Francis Kurkdjian and Juliette Has Gone fragrance. I don't know why. It is so synthetic, and I think it has something that is in Baccarat Rouge somehow, but it's not a similar fragrance. It just has this something that is there, and then mixed with a lot of syntheticness and fruity notes that has the vibe of Juliette Has a Gun. I have to say, I don't like it. This is just too much, not good, not well blended. And I just don't understand. Jeroboam, this is not his style. Like, this is not the style of Jeroboam, so I don't understand this fragrance, to be honest. I would not recommend it. It smells bad. I know that some people will like it because this Baccarat Rouge vibe, because this almost herba pura, candy-like, synthetic, fruity sweetness, but it's not good. I personally would say this is not a good blend, not a good fragrance. Next one we have Colada from Kajal, and when you first spray this fragrance, it smells like you have just opened a can of pineapple. This is like the first impression. Very, very quickly, it becomes this concoction of tropical fruits like mango and pineapple with coconut. So a tropical fruity fragrance. There is also some citruses and maybe apple, like I'm smelling something. Definitely, this composition is better than the one I've tested from Lorenzo Pazzaglia. What was it called? Summer Hammer? Was it that one or the other one? I tested two, now I don't remember. And I definitely prefer it to other fragrances that I've tested from the brand. And I'm not a fan of these kind of fragrances, but it's let's say, a good one. Nice. Nothing to be wowed about. What I really liked about this fragrance, however, was the dry down. The dry down, the coconut is not this, what I'm always like finding in these kind of fragrances, like it's this dense, this very cloying coconut. These kind of coconut fragrances or this kind of coconut note makes me gag. Here, it's very good. So if I was a fan of this kind of scent profile, I would definitely get it. But I am not. And I know that some people, like, contrary to my opinion, I did not like Kajal, Dahab, and I like this one. I like it, like, in the sense I would recommend it. And it is totally the opposite of other people who love Kajal, love also Dahab, and find this one not a good fragrance. So I don't know. This is my personal opinion. It doesn't smell, it doesn't have this overly syntheticness that is in Kajal and also in Dahab. Yeah, it's sharp syntheticness that I don't like. It is also in Herba Pura and all these fragrances. It's not present here. It's more warm, it's more creamy in a way. So for me, this is a better one. Anyway, it's just my opinion. It has very good performance by the way. So definitely a thumb up. Now, there are a lot of fragrances that I've tested at Exxon's that I did not like or I liked and then I was disappointed. This one was just okay, not wowed by it, but when I tested it, I liked it. So this is the newest release from Nobile 1942, Il colore del vento. The opening of this fragrance is like a lemon sorbet. You will also get hit immediately with the sugar note. It's very sparkling and sweet and a little bit bitter in a way. So it has the spiciness of the ginger, a little bit of this bitterness also of the ginger mixed here. And it's totally a different experience than what I smelled at Exxon's, but I do prefer it. This is definitely a fragrance that I would add to my lemony dessert kind of fragrances. It's so beautiful, but I have to say, now testing it on paper, it's definitely better on my skin. On paper, I'm getting more of the ginger notes, and on my skin, I didn't get it as much. So definitely in the realm, in the vibe, but not similar again, of fragrances like Lyra, Devotion, and what else? Bake, all these fragrances that smell that have this lemon dessert, lemon tart kind of vibe. This is one of them, and I absolutely like it. I like how the ginger gives this kick and some dimension to this fragrance. So actually, this is one of my absolute favorites from 1942. And with finally this sample with me, I can finally do my buying guide. I filmed that buying guide many times and I was waiting for it to be officially released and to get a sample to finally get it done. I started this buying guide way back, like I think 2 years ago. So it's definitely time. So if you love 1942, definitely stay tuned because a buying guide will come very soon. So these were all the fragrances that have mango, cherry, fruity fragrances in general that I have tested from all the new releases. As I said, stay tuned for a vanilla episode and another one that I will do for all the rest. I already did 3 previous episodes that I will leave a link down below if you are curious, as well as also the one I did on all the new designer fragrances and all the reviews, individual reviews that I did during the year. Everything will be linked. So if you're curious, you can check them. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and if you did, please give me a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel if you didn't already. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. As I said, there are a lot of very exciting content coming very soon. So if you want to be updated on all the new releases, definitely don't forget to hit that bell. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about these fragrances. Was one of them your favorite, and do you agree or disagree with me? Let's have a conversation in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time. Ciao.